So, hey Sasha, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I know. All right, just a little background. I've known Sasha since you were 12, 13. You were a lot young. I know, you're a lot younger, and now you're like this all grown up adult. So, for people who don't know who you are and what you do, just give everyone a little background where you're at right now and what you do.
Sure, no problem. Well, I'm originally from the Trenton area in Mercer County, New Jersey, but most recently, actually about 7 months ago, I started working for in property management. So I had a bunch of different jobs growing up, but now as an adult, I seem to have found my career as a community manager for an apartment complex in Hackensack, New Jersey. So I started working as the leasing manager, and then they promoted me to the community manager, and now I live here in a building with 200 apartments, almost 400 people, and I'm responsible for all of it. So I'm here all the time, and I love it here in Hackensack. We're very close to New York City, so it's pretty cool. That's what I do.
Yeah. So but you're also in a hot spot right now. Where you are, is it Bergen County?
It is Bergen County.
Yeah. So Bergen County, you guys are in a hot spot. The other day, I have the chills right now, just remembering your Facebook Live when the mayor, Mayor John Labrosi, I think it is, how did that all happen? Because you were Facebook Live, just tell everyone the story. Is awesome.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm not from Hackensack or Bergen County, so I don't follow anything, but, a lot of people follow like a Facebook group called Hackensack Happenings, or they watch the news, or they get phone calls, from like a recorded phone call from the mayor. So a few people told me that day, I believe it was last Monday, not this past Monday, but the one before, saying, hey, Sasha, the mayor is doing this clap out for everyone who's a healthcare worker in Hackensack. Everyone's just going to go outside their apartments and just make all this noise and just to support the people at the hospital. So my building is 2 blocks away from Hackensack University Medical Center, which is a huge, wonderful hospital. You can walk to it. We have a ton of people in the building who are healthcare workers. They've been working so hard, nonstop. We have pediatric nurses helping with COVID. It's just been insane. So it was very beautiful that, the mayor had this idea. I think New York City is involved in it as well. This awesome clap out thing where everyone just gets involved. So I did, it was at, I believe, 8 p.m. at that time, and I went out in the street, and my street and the entire area is just filled with a bunch of apartment living. So condos, apartment buildings, high rises, garden apartments. So you just see these, huge buildings of just all this noise and cheering. It sounded like a football stadium of just all this love and support. And I got it on Facebook Live. I put up a donation button and had some donations there, and it was just really beautiful to see that. A very positive thing in this negative experience that we're all having. So it was great. It was really beautiful.
Yeah. And just for our viewers, here's a little snippet of what she was talking about.
So the city of Hackensack asked us all to clap for all of the medical workers and everybody who's a essential worker and everything like that. My building is 2 blocks away from the Hackensack University Medical Center. So this entire area where my building is has a lot of high-rise complexes, a lot of apartment living and condos, and it's so super cool that banging pots and clapping and screaming for our nurses and doctors out there saving lives and being heroes, and just so brave for all of them to go out and continue to do their jobs,
See, that was amazing. And even though it was like a little Facebook snippet, I can't even imagine being there. But, the reason why you're on the show is because unfortunately you're also part of another pivoting moment of something that's going to be happening more and more, increasing, especially with stimulus money being released. And, it's just scummy what's happening. But, tell everyone your story.
So I received an email. Actually, I have my emails come through my cell phone and through my laptop. So I actually received early on Saturday morning, this past Saturday, an email from what appeared to be my CEO because his name was there. He was in my contacts. It just said his first and last name. And then it basically asked me, do you have a company card? I forget. And I said, no. And he said, okay, well, I need you to go and get these things for me and I'll reimburse you next week. Just fill out the form. I said, okay. He says, I need this urgently. I said, okay, what is it? I need $1,400 in eBay gift cards for a project I'm working on. And if you could just be so kind, I can't leave, can you go out to Target or something and try to get these $200 each? I'm sending them to people or whatever. And I said, okay. So he said, I need them urgently. I just need the codes urgently so I can send them out. Sure, no problem. It's my CEO, right? He's emailing me. I need something urgently. I didn't pay attention to the details. I just went ahead and did it. It took me like 2 hours to find enough Target stores to provide, because the eBay gift cards were $25 each card. So I couldn't do 200 on one card like a Visa. Like a Visa gift card has the higher amounts. These were just 20. So I had to get like 56 cards that amounted to $1,400 and then individually sent him these codes. It sounds like a ridiculous task for somebody to ask me to do, especially, a boss or something like that. Like first of all, why did you assume I had $1,400? Why would you ask me to leave during this quarantine time? None of this was on my brain because this entire situation is distracting everybody, and it's clouding your judgment and your common sense. And of course, everyone's inside. If my CEO can't do it, he's relying on somebody else to do it for him. And of course, I did it with no question whatsoever. And it was not until I came back to my apartment and sent him everything, and I sat down and I said, I think that was a scam. And then I went back into the details and found that it was a different email address under Gmail, and he was able to disguise himself as my CEO. I had to look at my laptop to see those details because it'll say clear as day that the email address was different. And that was an oversight because I was looking at my phone, which just had his first and last name. And I think that the first thing that I went through was anger. How could I be so stupid? I was embarrassed. How do I tell my boss that I did this? How do I get that money back? I started immediately calling everybody that I thought I should call. I immediately went online and researched exactly what I should have done. I vented on Facebook to see if anybody could provide me any assistance or recommendations. And I called my bank and my credit card company. I reported it to the police, the FTC, and the IC3, which is internet scams and stuff like that. And I tried to just cover all bases and send everybody. I even contacted eBay and I said, hey, all of these tracking numbers, please try to cancel them if you can. Try to fix this for me. And I was working on that in the beginning of the week. So I have yet to hear back from anybody. This is the first time I've gone through any type of scam or identity theft. I know like 90% of people in the world probably have experienced something like this at least once. But right now, with everything that's going on, everybody's working from home. The security is not there as much as it was before when you're working in an office. There are people easily able to hack into your lives through your computer and trick you and take your identity and take your money. So it's very scary in general that these things happen, but it's so prevalent right now, and it is becoming more and more of a bigger deal, and more people are getting scammed and more money is being stolen. So it's a very sensitive time, and a lot of people are just so distracted, and so you can't even imagine what they're doing with their lives, that these things are very, very easy to happen.
Yeah, and I just think it's a scummy thing to do. Karma's a bitch. And I'm just really, I saw this happen to you, and I almost was scammed once with money orders. And I took them to the bank, and they said, or the post office, and they're like, wow, these are the best knockoffs I've ever seen. And they kept them and stuff, but I didn't do it. But I was going to. It was a whole nother thing through a few years ago. But now, like you said, people are going to start, you're going to see this more and more and more. And you're I think the third story I heard about this eBay card thing. So anyway, I'm sorry it happened to you, and I pray that you're able to resolve and cancel everything so that.
Of course, yeah, and like most people, money comes, it goes. It's really the principle of the evilness that's out there and vulnerability and and that type of thing. We're all suffering. Where every single person on this earth is suffering from this, and to take advantage of the people who are not in a right mental space because they're suffering is quite disappointing and very evil. And I hope, like you said, karma's a bitch. I hope that they get theirs. I really don't care about the money as much as I care about catching these people and stopping them and enforcing stronger law. I mean, I even went out and said, does anybody know how to hack to help me find his email address and connect it with something? But yeah, so with that being said, I think that everyone just needs to be very aware, open their eyes, try not to be distracted. If it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. I said to my coworker, isn't it strange? I said to a couple people, isn't it strange that he's asking me to do this? But I guess, everything's crazy during these times. Nothing's normal, but don't take it like that. Anything that feels weird, pay attention to it and just be safe. Other than being safe health-wise, be safe with your finances and be safe with exposure and things like that. And I think that collectively we all just need to pay more attention.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable and authentic about this, because someone watching this, you may prevent that from happening. And so I